Very good morning, students. Welcome you all for this session. In this session, we are going to deal with operating systems. Fine. So, in the last semester, we have gone through computer organization, which is one of the important subject which we have learned. Fine. In the computer organization, we have learned many things, right? Relating to memory, relating to storage, relating to addressing modes, and relating to different things we have learned in the last session of your semester. Fine. In this semester, we are going to deal with operating system, which is one of the important core subject in your curriculum. So, before let me go to depth into the subject, first you people has to know the course outcomes of the subject. Course outcomes are nothing but after studying the entire course, I mean entire operating system, at the end, what you are going to have in your hands, what are the concepts you are very much familiar with, and what you have known regarding the operating system. So all these comes under the course outcomes. Fine. So not only any of the subject, not only this operating system or not only any of the subject you are learning, before going to learn any of the subject, you people have to well aware of the course outcomes. Course outcomes are nothing but after completing the whole subject, like what are the things you are going to know, those will shows you the course outcomes. Fine. So in this operating systems, like you will be going to have a theory as well as the practical session. For theory, you will be going to have 3 credits. So in this 3 credits are very much important for you people. Fine. So when we are going to start this operating system session, let me start from the course outcomes of the operating system. Fine. So we are having 5 course outcomes. There will be many course outcomes, like I mean to say you people can learn many things, but what are the major vital things you are going to learn in this operating system subject are: the first one is fundamental concepts of functions of an operating system. So functionality in the sense what the operating system is capable of doing. So operating system functionalities are nothing but what operating system will do. There are many different functionalities of an operating system: process management, memory management, storage management, device and disk scheduling management, as well as the information protection and security. So these are the main functionalities of an operating system. Fine. So these functionalities are going to study in as each and every unit. I have said you that process management is one of the functionality of operating system. So that process management you will be going to study in a first unit. And in the second one is the memory management. This memory management also you will be going to study in one unit. It's like that you will be going to study different functionalities as different units in your operating system subject. Fine. So when it comes to the second course outcome of an operating system, you will be going to understand process scheduling in a multi-programming environment and implementing process scheduling algorithms. As I have said you, process management is one of the functionality of an operating system. So like what do you mean by a process and how the processes are going to be executing, we'll be going to see when the unit we are going to discuss. Like let me tell you in this session, like what are the things you are going to know. So in this process scheduling, so you will be going to have different processes. Processes are nothing but different operations or different tasks. So how we are going to implement all the processes with the CPU? One by one you are implementing or batch wise you are implementing. So when you are going to implement any process, which algorithm you are making use of? So all these things you will be going to study in the process scheduling algorithms. Like there are different process scheduling algorithms. They are like first come first serve scheduling algorithm, shortest job first algorithm, round robin algorithm. Like this you are going to have many different process scheduling algorithms. And next one is write application and system call. So what do you mean by a system call? So system call is nothing but like you are going to have user as well as the operating system. So The user working environment, we call it as an user mode, and the operating system working environment, we call it as a kernel mode. So there are two different modes, user mode and the kernel mode. User mode in the sense user going to work on it, and kernel mode in the sense operating system is going to work on it. So like why we are making use of operating system means in order to make interaction between the user and the computer hardware. I'll be going to give you the introduction in detail. So this operating system, the major task is it is going to provide communication or interface between the user and the computer hardware. So this operating system acts as a mediator or interface. So what is a system call in the sense, like we when the user wants to use the hardware device, he'll be going to invoke an operation, that is the system call. What system call will do is system call will interact with the operating system, and the operating system is going to perform the required task what we want to do. Fine. So this is how the system call is going to be working, and we are also going to see memory and IO and interprocess communication. Interprocess communication is a very important concept. Like in between the processes, how they are going to communicate is the interprocess communication. That also we'll be going to see in this. That also you will be capable of knowing. All these are the outcomes. Outcomes are nothing but what the things you are capable of knowing or understanding at the end of the course. And next one is understand memory management, disk management, and virtual memory and file system. I have said you in the initial stage that the functionalities of an operating system are process management, memory management, disk scheduling, and protection and security. So we are going to understand the memory management. Memory management is nothing but how the memory is going to be managed in between the different processes, that we call it as a memory management. So when it comes to the disk management, like you are going to have the hard disk, so how we are going to store the things onto the hard disk, how we are going to retrieve the things from the hard disk. And you all well aware of virtual memory. Virtual memory is a memory which creates an illusion that we are going to have large memory by our side. So that also you will be going to know. And finally, the file system structure. So what do you mean by a file? What are the operations you want to going to perform on a file? Like how the files are going to be saved, how the files are going to be retrieved from the directories. All things you will be going to know from this file system. And last is protection and security. So protection and security, so operating system is the one which is going to provide required protection for the process as well as security. We'll be going to see how it is going to provide the protection and security for the different processes. So these are the major 5 outcomes that are going to be known before entering into the introductory part of your subject. So after completing the whole course, I mean after learning the whole subject, you people will come to know all these things, like how the memory is going to be managed, how the processes are going to be managed, how the disk is going to be managed, how we are going to provide protection and security. All the things we'll be coming to know when we are going to learn this operating system subject. Fine. So these are the different course outcomes you are having. Now coming to the syllabus. So what is the syllabus you are having, and what are the units you are going to cover in this operating system? As you all know, our curriculum operating system has been divided into 5 units. So let us discuss unit by unit, one by one. Fine. The first one is the introduction. So introductory part of an organization operating system. So in this introduction, you will be going to study the computer system organization and architecture. So the basic part is the computer system. Inside the computer, in order to run, we will be going to place the operating system. So like you will be going to again see the computer structure and operating system structure also. What is the structure of an operating system? Like operating systems is also having different structures, monolithic structure, kernel structure, like different structures we are going to have. So those structures you will be going to have. What do you mean by a process? What do you mean by a memory? How we are going to store the memory, and how we are going to provide security and protection? All these things you will be going to study in the introductory part of your first unit. Fine. So introduction means like you will be going to start from the computer, like you'll be going to see how the computer has been organized, and how the operating system has been what are the structures you are having. All the things you will be going to cover in the first part of your first unit. When it comes to the second part, you will be going to have system structure, operating system structure. Like what are the operating system services? What are the services? Are nothing but resource allocation, accounting, like manipulation of file systems. All these comes under the system services. Like what are the different services that are going to be provided by the operating system, and how the user's operating system acts as an interface. What do you mean by a system call? What are the different types of system calls we are having, and what is the structure of an operating system? What are virtual machines, and what are the generations of an operating system? What do you mean by a booting? All these things comes under the second part of your first unit. Like when an operating system is running, the first program which is going to run on the operating system is booting process. That is the first program which has to load it onto the operating system. So that how that booting is going to be done also you will be going to know, or you will be going to study in the system structures. So that is the second part, your first unit. And the third part is process concept. So one of the important thing, or one of the important functionality of an operating system is process management. So process, like what do you mean by a process? Like in which, how many states does a process is going to have? So all the relating things to the process is going to be studied. Like how we are going to schedule the processes. In the course outcome we have seen scheduling algorithms like a shortest job first, FCFS, round robin. All this comes under the process scheduling algorithms. So what is an inter-process communication? How we are going to communicate between the processes? Like what is the technology, or what is the main thing you are going to use in order to communicate among the processes? That is also you will be going to see. Like communication in how the client and server is going to be communicated, that is also you will be going to see in the process concept. And the third fourth part is multi-threaded programming. So, as you all know, a thread is nothing but a small program. What is the necessity of a thread? Like we are having a large program. So, in order to have that large program to be executed, you will be finding somewhat difficult. So, in order to overcome that drawback, what we have done is that large program has been divided into small parts. So, each part we call it as a thread. So, what is multi-threading? So, simultaneously multiple threads are going to be executed, that we call it as a multi-threading. So what are the models you are having? What are the threading issues you are going to have? What are the operating system examples are there? We'll be going to see in the multi-threaded programming. So all this covers in your first unit of your operating system. Coming to the second unit, we'll be going to study the process scheduling algorithms. What are the multi-process scheduling, thread scheduling, operating system examples, algorithm evaluations? All these things you will be knowing in this process scheduling. Fine. And next one is the process coordination and synchronization. So what do you mean by coordination, and what do you mean by synchronization? How the processes are coordinated in order to do a particular task, how the processes are synchronized in the sense like one after another doing. We shouldn't create any sort of clumsiness when we are going to do a process. So how the processes are going to be synchronized, and how the process have been cooperated in order to do a particular particular task. All these things you will be going to see in the process coordination and synchronization. In order to see that process coordination and synchronization, we'll be going to use some solutions like Peterson solution, critical section problem, monitors, semaphores also we'll be going to use. So these monitors, semaphores, critical section problem, mutual exclusion, Peterson solution, all these why we are going to study in the sense, in order to coordinate different processes, in order to synchronize different processes. These are the different solutions we are using in order to cooperate and coordinate different processes. And next comes the important topic, which is the deadlock. Deadlock is nothing but like stucking up. If two processes are there, the first process is waiting for the second process, and the second process is waiting for the first process resources, so both got stuck up. So at that stuck up situation, we call it as a deadlock. So how to prevent deadlock, how to avoid deadlock, and what are the deadlock avoidance methods, what are the deadlock prevention methods, how we are going to recover a system from the deadlock, how we are going to detect the deadlock, all this comes under the deadlocks condition. So deadlock avoidance in the sense, like after occurring the deadlock, how to avoid. Deadlock prevention in the sense, what are the measures we are taking in order not to system enter into the deadlock situation. Suppose if the deadlock has entered, like how to avoid, like what are the detection methods we are taking in order to find out whether the deadlock has occurred or not. So that is the deadlock detection. And recovery from the deadlock, how we are going to recover from the deadlock. So that is the deadlock recovery process. So all these things we'll be going to cover in the second unit, that is of process scheduling, process coordination and deadlocks. So process scheduling in the sense, like one by one, as we all schedule our daily routine, like this time we have to do this, that time we have to do that, how we are going to schedule, in that way process are going to be scheduled, and how the process are going to be coordinated. Suppose if the processes got stuck, how they are going to be recover. All these things we are going to see in the second unit. When it comes to the third part, this all comes under memory management. As I have said you, memory management is one of the important functionalities of an operating system. Like we are having main memory and secondary memory. We are also known regarding the associative memory and virtual memory and cache memory too. So in this memory management, the important concept is swapping. You already well aware of it. Why? Because in the computer organization we have seen, what do you mean by swapping. Swapping is nothing but getting the tasks from secondary memory to main memory, or main memory to the secondary memory. That we call it as swapping. Next one is contiguous memory allocation. How we are going to allocate the memory continuously, not here something is stored and somewhere something is stored, not that way. How we are going to store the things continuously, what is the paging, what is the segmentation, what is the structure of a page table, everything we'll be going to cover in this memory management strategies. And next comes the virtual memory management. So virtual memory management in the sense, virtual memory in the sense, as we all know, like there is no such sort of memory, virtual memory, but what the thing we are doing is we are creating an illusion that there is a huge amount of memory at our side. So that we call it as a virtual memory. So in that virtual memory, like demand paging will be there, page replacement algorithms will be there, thrashing, allocating kernel memory, all the things we'll be going to see in the virtual memory. And final part is storage management. How we are going to store the data, like in files or in the directories, like file system mounting, like file sharing, file protection, all the things we'll be going to cover in the third unit of the secondary management. Fine, these are the things we'll be going to cover in the memory management. All the things related to memory, that is main memory, secondary memory, virtual memory, cache memory, all the things we'll be going to cover over here. When it comes to the fourth unit, like implementing file system, so this is also important concept, like how the file system structure is going to be, how we are going to implement the file system, all the things we'll be going to see in this file system structure. And file File is nothing but collection of related information. Directory means like all the files we are going to be organized onto the directory. We can call directory as a folder also, fine. So how the data is going to be stored onto the files, and how we are going to manage the directories, what are the allocation methods, and what is the free space management, how we are going to utilize the free space, efficiency, what is the efficiency and performance. All these things we'll be going to see in the first part of this fourth unit. Second part is secondary storage structure. Secondary storage structures are nothing but hard disks, pen drives, floppy disk drives. All this comes under secondary storage structure. So how we are going to store our data onto the secondary storage structure? So how we are going to take the data when the main memory is going to be required? So what are the concepts we are going to use? All this comes under the secondary storage structure. And next one is IO systems. IO systems is input output systems. So you will be going to study input output hardware. What is the interface we are going to make use of? What is the kernel? What are the kernel subsystems? And hardware operations, streams, the performance, everything we'll be going to study in the IO systems. This whole three things will be covering for the fourth unit. And when it comes to the last unit, you will be going to have the protection and security. So the operating system, one of the main functionality is it's giving protection and security. So how it is going to protect our data, how it is going to secure our information, or how it is going to protect the processes from one processes not accessing the data of another processes. Like that, it is going to provide protection and security. For that protection and security, you will be going to have the access matrix method, which is the very important method. So by making use of this access matrix, like we'll be going to provide protection and security for the different processes as well as the data what we are going to use. Next one is the system security, how we are going to provide security for the system. So if any threat has been coming, so how we are going to overcome that threats, like what is the cryptography, like how we are going to authenticate a particular person, how we are going to make use of firewalls, and how we are going to make use of computer security. All these things comes under the system security. If the system is secure, then only our process as well as our data is going to be secured. So protection and security is very important. Protection is for our the data and the processes. System security is for the system which we are going to make use of. And the last concept in this fifth unit is the real-time systems. Real-time systems in the sense, what are the real-time applications we are going to use? For example, examples of real-time systems are, suppose if we are going to make use of an operating system in navigation, or in aircrafts, or in air aeroplanes monitoring system. So these are the real-time applications. We should be very much bothered and very much careful for this real-time applications. Why? Because it is going to calculate a nanosecond time also. So how we are going to make use of these real-time systems and implementing the real-time systems, all these things will be going to cover in the fifth unit. Fine, these are the different 5 units you will be going to study. So as I have said you, the course outcomes, in the course outcomes we have learned regarding the process, we have learned regarding the memory, we have learned regarding the disk, we have learned regarding the security as well as protection. These course outcomes has been divided into 5 units. So in each unit you will be going to study one functionality of an operating system. So operating system functionalities are very much important. So each functionality we will be going to study as a single different unit. So this is how the course outcomes and the syllabus of your operating system in this semester is going to be prepared. So from the next class onwards, we'll be going to start our operating system class by the starting from the introduction. Then the first unit you'll be going to cover. Fine. I hope you people have been utilizing this opportunity in order to get and grasp the information. Fine. Thank you all students. Have a nice day. We'll meet you in the next class. Thank you.